Be willing. Are we willing? Be willing. Hold on, people. Just, okay. Be willing to. I'm trying to get this right here. Be willing to stand alone. Be willing to stand alone and not chase. You know what makes a good leader is a person that has a good offense. How y'all doing, man? Y'all doing okay? Y'all doing good? Man, I'm doing pretty good. Face all shine. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Face all shine. But in football, sports, you have the best defense in the world. But if you don't have a good offense, you can't win the game. You can't win the game if you don't have offense because you gotta have offense. You got to have offense. And a lot of us don't even know what that means. Paul had offense. Paul's offense was he was teaching salvation. That was his offense. That was his thing. If you ain't got no good offense, don't worry about that defense. That defense gonna be crap. I'm serious. I'm serious. If you're not standing alone, a good leader has to stand alone. Stand alone. I heard this story. This guy said he was at a movie, and at this movie there was some things uh, that was on the movie that wasn't right. So this guy, one of his friends, because they was all at the movie, one of his friends got up and walked out the movie. Just walk out of the movie like that. He did. And because it was something that was played on the movie that was not good, okay, as far as maybe it was some profanity, nudity, I don't know. But he was saying that his friend got up and walked out the movie. And they followed suit. They got up and walked out the movie. I'm glad they did. And that was not peer pressure because he didn't pressure anybody to do anything. He just got up and walked out. It is what it is, people. That makes a great leader. He he stood on what he did not want to see or he didn't believe in seeing. Is OTN73. Old Testament nights. Old Testament night for 73 nights. We're going to look at something here. We're going to look at something here and we're going to figure some stuff out. It's not going to be, um, it's not going to be vague, nothing like that. We're going to look at something. Um, we're going to look at one of the major prophets. One of the major prophets. And this major prophet He can interpret dreams. He can interpret dreams, dreams. He had favor with God, and he had like three kings. And he had kings that came, not three, but he had kings that came to him for help, so he can read their dreams. And these kings were very appreciative, very appreciative. Some got it, some didn't, some had to get it later. But they was appreciative of him interpreting the dream. So, how y'all doing tonight, man? Y'all doing all right? Get you something to snack on, get you something to drink, whatever. Some of y'all in the bed, some of y'all getting up, some of y'all just getting in. But anyway, we're gonna get off into this, man, because it's gonna be some good teaching. It's gonna be some real good teaching that we need to really understand and know that we hadn't been taught to have a good offense. We've been taught, oh, you gotta have a good prayer life, oh, this and that. We gotta know what the offense is. And this morning we heard what it is. It's 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 your labor in Christ, in the Lord. Your labor. It's your labor. What are you doing for God? What are you doing that, or what have you done now? And I don't know what have you been doing to have faith, to have the full armor of God on you? What are you doing? What are you doing for God? Not for man. What are you doing for God that keeps that a connection between you and Him? Because you know how y'all like to say, faith without works is dead. Works without faith is dead too. You can work all day, but if you ain't got good faith, mm-mm. So we're gonna look into Daniel. Okay. Before we get into Daniel, let me take you on some little bit of history about Daniel. Daniel had to stand alone countless times. If you go into Daniel chapter 1, it talks about when Daniel was uh, under this kingship, and the king, he told them to find the smartest Jews, uh, of the ones that they have. Give them to me, find them. So they found Daniel. They found the, they changed their names now. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Okay, that's not their names, but that's neither here nor there. But he found them four to be, very intelligent, very wise at a young age, somewhere between 16 and 18, somewhere in that. So the king will feed them their food, as far as their wine and the meat that they eat. Well, Daniel stood on that and said, "No, I can't eat that because that's not a part of our custom. That's as far as are accustomed to God. Okay. So he said, I ain't gonna do that. So he stood on that. Then you had Nebuchadnezzar, and then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and here come this ordinance that you can't what is that? That you have to bow down to this idol that was made of gold. And Shadrach and Abednego were in the fiery furnace. Okay, that's like I think it's like chapter 2, chapter 3 of Daniel. So you own, okay, together. Remember, if you looked at the live this morning, when you stand together, then you are in unity. When you stand in unity of God, you're one. One body, one baptism. Let me get down to you, because I don't worked all day, so I can read it to you. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 4. There is one body, one spirit, and one spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God, and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in all. So that's the unity Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was in. So they stood in unity for what they believed in. They weren't going to bow down to no idol and praise no idol God. We know how the story goes, or do we? Because half of us didn't even know that's not their name. So you might want to go back and read that. Anyway, let's move on to Daniel. Give me a Daniel. Give me a Daniel. Let's show them what the offense is all about. Because you had an offense in Daniel, the first chapter. Your offense was that you stood on what you believed in, as far as not eating the meat and drinking of the wine that is against God's ordinance for the Jews. Boom, we got that. You stood on that. And you end up triumphant after that, right? Then you had Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They stood on not worshiping no idols. That was the offense. The defense is not for you to do. The offense is for you to do. But we've been told in these churches, you gotta have a breastplate, this, you gotta have a full armor. How you gonna get it if you ain't got no offense? How you gonna get it if you won't stand for nothing for God and you falling for everything the world has to offer? How you gonna get it? How you gonna get a full armor of God and you don't have an offense? How you gonna get a defense and you don't even know how to have an offense? They hadn't taught us that. And this wows me, man. I ain't put nobody down, nothing like that. I'm just saying, how are you gonna have a good? You can't have a good. You can have the best defense all you want to, but if you ain't got no offense, you are not going to win the game. And your offense is your labor for God. What would you stand up for? Are you standing up for? We got this coming around Easter, right? Y'all for to celebrate in the churches. Easter eggs, bunny rabbits, and it has nothing to do with that. What are you standing for? Do you know whatever little bit you allow the world to have of you, of false teaching, they have got it all from you because you do not compromise with the world at all. But this is what we're doing. Well, let's see what Daniel did. Let's see what Daniel was willing to do and denounce the world. But this is what we do. We celebrate these idol things. We celebrating this stuff. I talked about that on the first day of the year. I'm just saying, people, if you don't stand for God, you're going to fall for the world. Daniel chapter 6. Daniel, we all know about the lion den and this and that. We all know that. But did we know his offense? The defense came later. But y'all that told us they had a breastplate. He had the full armor of God. No, he didn't. He got the full armor of God. Anytime he get in trouble, he got it. But we don't have no offense, so we just work on our defense. I can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me. How you gonna do that? You ain't got no offense. You ain't doing nothing. Just sitting in the same seat in church, doing the same thing every Sunday, not learning nothing, running around, jumping up and down, following the crowd. Just saying. Come on, Daniel. Daniel chapter 6. And I'm going to try to be a little bit fast and focus on this. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, and which should be over the whole kingdom, and over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give an account unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then Daniel was preferred above the presidents and the princes, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over to the whole realm. The king. Why? Because from Daniel chapter 1, dealing with those kings before him, they gave him all that power. They gave him that stuff because of what was in Daniel, how he had a good offense, not the defense, how he had a good offense with dealing with certain things. Those dreams that came up, right? He saved he saved some soothsayers and some sorcerers and some astrologers from being killed. Why? Because they made him twice master over all of them because he told him about his dream to 2 Kings, to chapter 6. His offense got him there. He told him about the dream. He prayed to God. God showed him the dream. He gave it to him. That was his offense. That wasn't defense played in that. Verse 4. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could not find no occasion, no fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him, because of his defense or his offense. He was doing his thing, people. His offense was off the chain. It was to the point where he had an excellent spirit. Not his defense, his offense. Because he stood on what he believed. Then said these men, we should not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of the God, of his God. So now they conspiring against him. Okay? There's their defense. Because he's on offense. Do you see? Just think about it. If he's coming with an excellent spirit, that's offense. If they coming with this foolishness, that's defense. So they in defense and he in offense. Watch the game. Watch the game. See where the ball gets handed off to. Think, people. Verse 6. Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. And the presidents of the kingdom and the governors and the princes of the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a rule statute and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save on thee of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. So they still were on defense. They still on defense now. They still on defense. Okay? Verse 8. Now, O king, establish the decree, and sign the writing, that it be not changed according to the law of Media and Persians, law of Medes and Persians, which altered not. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. The ball has been shifted. Now they're on offense. Now they got the ball because the king done signed it. So now, check this out. Now, when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into the house, and his windows being open in his chamber towards Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before God, as he did afar time. He's on defense now. because they got the ball. And he done heard what they done. So he was like, okay, so y'all doing that? All right. I'm gonna still do what I do. I'm gonna still do what I do. So now, then verse 11, then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. Before his God. Verse 12, then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of God or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altered not. They still got the ball. They still got the ball. And they making sure that they get a touchdown. Ain't nobody got a touchdown yet now. All right? Then answered they and said before the that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, requires not thee, O king, nor the decree that 3 times a day. Who got the ball now? They still got it. They still got the ball. Now, the full armor God is playing its part. Now it is. But watch this. Then the king, which he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself and his heart on Daniel to deliver him. He labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Now who got the ball? Daniel. Because now king is playing for him. Now he's back in offense. He's back in offense. Because he's trying. Daniel, the king, is trying to intercept this thing. He's trying to. He's trying to get the ball back to Daniel. But what gives Daniel the interception to get the ball back was that the king was so pleased. Why? Show y'all something. Note that the contrast between this king, and Nebuchadnezzar. When his law was disobeyed, this one was displeased. This one, that means this king, was displeased with himself because he had been tricked into making such a law. He sought to deliver Daniel, laboring to do so all day. But the enemies of Daniel held the king to his law as one which could not be altered. Go back. Boom. Verse 15. Then these men assembled unto the king and said unto the king, now, know, O king, that the law of the Medes and the Persians is that no decree, no statute which the king established may be changed. They got the Daniel got the interception, but they couldn't move the ball. Why they couldn't move the ball? Because the decree stopped them from making any type of yards. So turnover, turnover. They are back on the offense. And who is on the defense? Daniel. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, Thy God, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. The ball just switched. Now Daniel is back in offense. He is back in offense because the king believed that. Why? Show y'all something. Daniel had literally served God continually in offense, for 80 and 90 years. He continually did it. So he was always in offense. So when the time came when he had to go in defense, it wasn't no problem. He didn't have to work. The king did the work for him. Your God will deliver you. The one you serve. Who y'all serving? Who y'all serving, people? That's your offense. Who you serving, what you serving, and how you serving it. So do you have an offense? Or you been working on your defense this whole time? I ain't talking about throwing hands in the air. I'm not talking about reading scriptures Sunday morning. I'm talking about what are you doing as a servant of our Lord Jesus Christ, making yourself known unto him continually, each day, every day, all day, 3 times a day, because that's when he prayed. And had experienced many demonstrations of his union with God. The king had absolutely faith in the ability of God and in Daniel's power. Not the defense. The defense don't have power. It's the offense that shows the power. The defense shows the results of the power. What's the results? I defeated you. That's the results. Your offense got to be good, or you're not going to win the game trying to operate in just defense. Defense cannot win a game. Because if the other team offense is good, the defense will barely beat them. Daniel's power with God to deliver him from lions. Daniel now had the same ability of showing his faith in God as did the Jews of chapter 3. What Jews he talking about? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Let's read on, people. Verse 17. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signature and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose may not be changed concerning. Now, They still on defense because now got to work for them to keep Daniel in the lines. Then y'all need to understand the art of defense and offense. It's very serious in biblical terms. Why you think they picked the best quarterbacks? Why you think they picked the best running backs? Do you hear them talking about anything on defense as much as they do with the wide receivers, the fullbacks, and the quarterback? They spend some money on them. They might spend some money on the defense, got to, But when it comes down to that offense, they got to have it together. Because the offense is what wins the game. You ever seen a team defense was about nothing? But as long as they can hold them long enough so the offense can run the ball, can run it down their throat. Come on, Daniel, let's read some more of this. Verse 18. Then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. What was going on now? Man, this shows the affection King Darius had for Daniel, man. He had a lot of affection for him. He loved Daniel. Daniel told him some stuff, man, about his dream. He won favor of Darius. Why? Because Daniel was always on the offense, people. He stood alone. That's the man. Y'all gotta stand alone, man. Because I'm telling you. When the Antichrist comes and you don't know how to stand alone, your friend get in it, your mama get in it, and all that, and you won't. In peer pressure, you as an adult, you want to please them. You want to be you want to be counted among them, and you're gonna fall for that foolishness because you don't know how to stand alone. That means you have no offense. All you got is defense. Well, if I go with them, I'm protected anyway. No, you're not. You're not protected by going into foolishness that you know it ain't. That's foolishness. How are you going to be protected when you get the mark of the beast and you say, I am a Christian? How you going to be protected? How you going to have a full armor of God then? You're not. You're not, just like you don't have it now because you have no offense. Man, y'all don't stand for nothing. And that's the problem. Y'all sitting up here sitting up here celebrating Easter and ain't about no eggs. And y'all know this. But yet you compromise. That's a bad offense. Y'all quarterback ain't about nothing. Anyway, let's move on. Verse 19 of Daniel chapter 6. Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice. He was sorrowful unto Daniel. And the king spake and said, servant of the living God, Is thy God whom thou servest continually able to deliver thee from the lions? Verse 21. Then said Daniel unto the king, sent his angel, and has shut the lions' mouths, that they have not hurt me. For so much as more before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. Now, we sit up here and we look at this verse and we angel. We think angel helped them. Oh no, angel. This is what they said. This is what they said. The last time a person said angel was Nebuchadnezzar. Go to Daniel. I'm gonna show you. Nebuchadnezzar said something else. And when Nebuchadnezzar, said it, it was go to Daniel chapter 3, verse 28. I'll show y'all something. Man. Or go before 28. Let's start at verse 25. Verse 25. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astounded and rose up in haste and spake and said unto the counselors, did not we cast 3 men bound in the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, true, O king. He answered and said, lo, I see 4 loose walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. I be telling y'all, man, stop letting these folks tell y'all anything about this Bible. When you see in the Old Testament, and when it says Lord, and when somebody got judged, it was Jesus doing the judging. Jesus said that nobody, God do not judge nobody, but he has gave it to the Son to do the judging. So Meshach and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was sitting in there with Jesus. Jesus was in there because everybody that got close to that fire got judged, dropped dead, burnt to crisp. So you see what's going on? So if you jump over there to verse 28, then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered his servant that trusted in him, and have changed the king's words and yielded their bodies, and they might not serve no worship any God except their own. What are you doing? Who are you worshiping? Who are you standing for? Do you stand alone? What crowd you in? I love y'all, man. I'm not fussing. I'm not trying to fuss. I'm just saying, man. This thing has been told to us all wrong. Now I know I'm gonna say the word of God don't say that. Well, y'all know me. I got a bad memory. I got a bad memory, but I ain't got no. My memory ain't that bad, right? It ain't that bad, but it's bad. So I have to show y'all again. I gotta make sure I put this on the screen. Make sure y'all know what it says. John, the 5th chapter, verse 22 says, and this is Jesus talking, is in red. For the Father judges no man, but has committed all judgment unto the Son. So after Adam did what he did, boom, the voice of God is Jesus. Remember that. So when the voice of God speaks with God, come on, man. All right. Let's get back. I just had to put that out there because I know y'all Bible scholars. You don't say that. There it is. But y'all never taught us that. You didn't know it either. But okay. All right. Verse 23. Now, remember now, the angel, okay? The angel was the armor of God for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and Daniel. That's the armor you're gonna have. See, we looking at it's on us. No, that armor is not on us. The more you continually be in offense with Jesus Christ by laboring for him, he is your what? Your armor. How? Through the Holy Spirit. So yeah, Jesus was seen in the Old Testament too, man. Verse 23. Then was the king exceedingly glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel out of the den. So Daniel was taken out of the den. No matter of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God. So guess what? When he was in the furnace, when they rolled that thing on there, they was in defense. I'm gonna go on this one, Mike. It's all good. It's all good. So now, once they rolled it over there, once he started praying, what happened? The defense came. I mean, no, my bad. Once they rolled it over there, that was offense. That was their offense. That was their offense. So now he's in now I'm sorry. Daniel was in defense because he around lions. He can't fight that. So Jesus had to step in, people, and fight that for him. He shut their mouths. So now he come out. He ain't hurt because he is God. Now he's on offense. Verse 24. And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel. They cast them into the den of lions. Now they in defense. But you don't see what happened. them, their children, and their wives. Oh my Lord. And the lions had the mastery of them and break all their bones in pieces, or ever they came at the bottom of the den. Lord have mercy. Then King Darius wrote unto all people, nations, and languages, and dwelled in all that dwell in all the earth. Peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom men tremble and fear and before the God of Daniel, for he is the living God and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed has dominion, shall be even unto the end. Shall has dominion, shall be even unto the end. Verse 27. He delivered and rescued, and he worked his signs and wonders in heaven and in earth, who has delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. So this Daniel purposed in the reign of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. Y'all see what happened, man? God is going to always get the glory, people. God is going to always get the glory. The whole thing was for God to get the glory, for people to turn from that dumb stuff. That's why it's very important that you stand alone, because it's going to help somebody see God for who he really is in you. You know how many people gave up on life just when they seen somebody just roll with everybody else and all that dumb stuff, didn't stand up for them, just gave up. You know how many, a lot of people commit suicide, especially kids. You got your homeboy, your homegirl, they watching them talk crazy to you, bully you, and then they don't say nothing. They don't try to help you. They worried about themselves. And then, being that you feel the way you feel, you go into a shell and then jump off a bridge, or shoot yourself, or take pills. These are what these kids are doing, and that's what they did because somebody didn't stand for what was right. But the ones that did stand for what was right got delivered, whether it been delivered from that issue or delivered from the enemy. It's very important, man. It is very important that you stand and don't follow no crowds. If that crowd is not in unity with God, people. So you gotta have a good offense. You gotta come continuously to the Lord. You gotta labor. So look, people, I see y'all in the morning. We're gonna get this started. I knew I need to do a good hour because that was deep. That was deep, you know. And I wasn't even trying to do the little football thing. It just happened. The Spirit told me to do it that way. That's gonna probably get a lot of people to really understand. When you flip that coin, You don't want to be on offense first off, right? You want to be on defense, right? It don't work like that in the spiritual realm. You need to be on offense. You need to be ready for what's coming. How you get ready for what's coming? You gotta go get it first. You gotta go after it first. That means you gotta be ready for what they're gonna come when you come at them. Yep. So you gotta put yourself out there, baby. You gotta stand up for something. You gotta stand up for God, man. You gotta stand. So people, I'm gonna get off this thing, man. And y'all have a good night, blessed night, man. I'll see y'all in the morning. That was some good teaching. That was a good teaching. That was some good bread, that boy. So man, I see y'all in the morning, man. Y'all get yourself together, man. Y'all have a good night. Love y'all, man. Y'all stay focused. I see the cup feeling on. I know everybody going to sleep. Go back and watch it, man. I love y'all, man. Let me get out this thing, man. Man, it's gonna be a good day tomorrow. I see y'all in the morning, in the A. I see y'all in the AM. Cause in the AM, the AM ain't that long.